Sunday Night Football will feature the Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers. While Packers Twitter has gone to war with itself this week, the Packers themselves are going to be double-digit underdogs and will face their toughest opponent so far and will probably face all season. Can they hang with the Bills? Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Packer Mentality Podcast. My name is Patrick Corrigan. I'm your host. You can find and follow me on Twitter at Packer Mentality. My podcasts are available on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, and Anchor. If you are watching me on YouTube, please hit the subscribe and like button below. It's free, costs you nothing. Please do it. So if you don't have time to keep up with all the Packer news, reports, or social media, or you've been completely disgusted by what was going on with them this week, let me help you make sense of the nonsense, and thank you for joining me. Let me start out by addressing what happened on Twitter this week with a few of the popular Packers journalists and podcasters. Let's just say that people were of opposing viewpoints on placing blame on who said what and what should be done about correcting the problems with the Packers. I'm not going to name names and I'm not going to go into who said or did what. Let's just say that people started getting personal and questioning other people's integrity. And Twitter being what it is, the trolls jumped in and lit everything on fire and posted some truly horrible things. But that is Twitter. What'd you expect? I hope everyone involved calms down. These guys are reasonable people. I don't think they're bad people. And I do think everyone involved wants the same thing, that we want the Packers to win games and be successful. While that was going on, the rumor mill has been churning with Packers rumors and trade possibilities. Pretty much all of it regarding wide receivers, such as DJ Moore of the Panthers, Chase Claypool of the Steelers, or AJ Green of the Cardinals. Personally, I'd prefer Moore or Claypool. If the price is right, these guys are still under their rookie contracts. And if the Packers were to make a move, I would also want them to then commit to them with extensions when the time comes. As far as AJ Green goes, he is 34 years old, and it would be a short-term rental. It would still take him probably some time to get used to this offense and Aaron Rodgers. I do think he would be more disciplined and make fewer of the dumb mental mistakes. But I still don't know how much you would get from him, so do not give up much for AJ Green. On the field, let's go quickly over the injury report for the Packers. Not practicing this week so far, Allen Lazard with a shoulder injury. He's already said he doesn't think he'll be playing on Sunday. Also not practicing, Shamar Jean-Charles. He's got an ankle injury. Limited so far this week, but still practicing either one day in some sort of fashion. David Bakhtiari, who did not play last week, he is at least practicing a little bit so far this week. Elton Jenkins, also getting back from his knee injury, limited practice. Rashawn Gary suffered a concussion last week. Did not practice on Wednesday. I believe he's still trying to clear protocol, but he did practice a little bit on Thursday. Aaron Rodgers with his thumb injury, still trying to get that straightened out. Did not practice on Wednesday, limited on Thursday. Sammy Watkins, who came back last week, did get some playing time. He was limited this week as he's still they're still being careful with his hamstring injury. Christian Watson, hamstring injury, limited practice this week. This is him. He has not been practicing the last couple of weeks with his hamstring injury. Hopefully that is a good sign that he might be available for Sunday. They're going to need him. Now the Bills We are definitely not going to see Micah Hyde, former Packer, and Tre'Davious White. They're both on injury reserve. White, I think, will come back next week, but we don't have to worry about him. Not practicing this week so far. Just Spencer Brown, starting right tackle, ankle injury. He's questionable so far for the game. Limited practice this week. Taewon Jones, running back. Jake Kumaro, our old friend, limited so far this week. And then 3 guys that are getting veterans rest. Center Mitch Morris, Jordan Phillips, their defensive tackle, and Jordan Poyer, one of their safeties, starting safety. But keys to the Packers offense versus the Bills defense. Key to the Packers offense is to help out the Packers defense. Bills offense is really good. We'll talk about them in a few minutes. But Packers offense has to sustain drives, hold on to the ball, and when they do drive, put the ball in the end zone. This Bills defense is good. It's actually one of the best in the league in actually a bunch of statistical categories, led by their defensive ends. Von Miller and Greg Rousseau, these guys can really rush the passer. Miller has 6 sacks. Rousseau has 4 sacks. The Bills' secondary, linebackers, and the defensive back safeties, they lead the league in interceptions with 10, led by Jordan Poyer, who we discussed a few minutes ago. He's got 4 interceptions, which is more than the Packers team. But as I mentioned, Micah Hyde and White are not playing this week. That means they do have backups in the secondary. But this defense is still playing well. They are only allowing 13.5 points per game. So this game plan for the Packers offense, considering how good the Bills offense is, they're going to need to control the ball. This game plan should look a lot like the Cardinals game from last season. The Packers are going to be missing wide receivers, so just like that game, in that game, they were missing Lazard, MVS, and Davante Adams, and trotted out an offense led by Randall Cobb and a bunch of other guys that most of us, hadn't seen so far that season. They controlled the ball using the running game and Tanyan until he got hurt. I think that was the game he got hurt in. Similar game plan for this week, I would think. Run the ball, control the ball. Hopefully that means LaFleur and Rodgers will remember that Jones is in the backfield and you can just hand the ball or flip him the ball. So hopefully that changes this week. Speaking of changes, some of the good things that happened last week that will carry over to this week is the offensive line. With all the changes last week, I think the run blocking suffered a little bit because you had guys in new positions, and some of them were flipping from the right to the left or the left to the right. Probably slowed them down a little bit, going different directions. And I expect that to improve with more practice and getting used to where they're lining up. Now, in the passing game, we need another good game from this offensive line. They did a great job last week. Didn't allow a sack, only allowed 1 hit. They have to keep Aaron clean. On top of that, the rest of this offense needs to eliminate or minimize the mistakes. We need guys running the right routes. We need them lining up correctly. And we need these guys to catch the ball. This group already has dropped 17 passes this season, which is a ridiculous amount in just 7 games. Can't have that. That's not NFL worthy. You are going to be missing Randall Cobb and Allen Lazard. Not sure if Sammy Watkins is playing. Not sure if Christian Watson is playing. So who's going to step up? Uh, I think obvious guys will be Robert Tunyon, who's already the Packers' leading receiver, and obviously Aaron Jones, who gets a lot of looks in the passing game. We're hoping they'll also hand him the ball. But those guys will get a lot of looks. After that, we need Romeo Doubs to step up. He had a terrible game last week after I was hoping he would, be the guy. But he's a rookie, so wasn't not a great week. And reports were that Dobbs was furious with himself after the game. And I do expect, because he has shown himself to be a professional, despite being a rookie, I expect him to bounce back this week and get that straightened out. He'll catch the ball. He's got good hands. Another guy that I expect to step up, we saw for the first time last week, Samari Torre. Reports are that he, the last few weeks, has really looked good in practice, which led to him getting on the field and Aaron Rodgers actually throwing in the ball. So expect to see more of him, and also Juwan Winfrey will probably get back out on the field. Hopefully recovers from dropping a pass a couple weeks ago that kind of hurt. Now, on the other side of the ball, or when the Packers defense is on the field versus the Bills offense. Bills offense 29.3 points per game. They score a lot of points. This offense loves to throw the ball with Josh Allen. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They don't care all that much about running the ball, which I guess is probably good for the Packers. But it's going to put a lot of pressure on this defensive line because they need to contain Josh Allen. While they don't rush the ball with their running backs a lot, Josh Allen is actually their leading rusher. He's got 257 yards rushing, which leads the team. He's got 17 passing touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. He protects the ball. But he's a dual threat, one of the best in the game. You cannot let him escape the pocket and run. That means Rashawn Gary, if he's healthy, Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, Jerron Reed, Kingsley Enagbare need to be on their game. I also would like to see Packers continue to be aggressive. We saw Quay Walker rushing the passer. I expect to see more of that this week. Could also have him spying on Josh Allen to keep him in the pocket. In the secondary, I expect Jaire Alexander to be matched up on Stephon Diggs. Diggs, one of the best in the league. He's already got 49 receptions this season. Allen loves to throw to this guy, and he's also got 6 touchdowns. Their number 2 guy, Gabriel Davis, scores. He finds the end zone. He's only got 15 catches, but 4 of them are touchdowns. Loves to play physical, and he finds the end zone. So I expect Rasul to be seeing a lot of Davis, and Stokes will see a lot of him as well. They have a decent tight end, Dawson Knox, 15 catches. Probably see a lot of Darnell Savage. But their running back, Devin Singletary, he only averages 47 yards rushing per game, but he does catch a lot of passes. Allen does throw him the ball a lot. So Devondre Campbell, Quay Walker, going to have their hands full with him in the passing game. Now the secondary, they were a little disappointing last week that they didn't come up with interceptions when they had their hands on them. And hopefully, the universe even things out and some of those balls get caught going forward. Hopefully it happens this week. Now, as far as a final result with this game, I try to be honest with myself, and I'm not going to blow smoke at you guys regarding what I think the Packers are going to do. I'm going to be honest and with my expectations for the Packers. And I honestly can't say I think they're going to win this game. This is one of the games I pointed to when the season started, that regardless of how the Packers were playing, whether they were playing great or not, I saw this as a loss. It's in Buffalo, and this is a really good team. But I am hopeful that we see signs of life from the offense and the defense plays up to its potential. If that happens, this game can be close. And if it's close, anything can happen. And that's where my hopes will be for the Packers on Sunday night. Keep it close and give yourself a chance. I don't think I'll be doing another episode before the game, but if something happens, you'll find me here. There will be another gut reaction after the game, so keep watching for that. Until then, have a great rest of your week and weekend. Please stay safe and be good to each other. Thank you for joining me, and go Pack Go.